Hello, Irving. We are at the Irving South Library right now. I have Dr. Olivia Abreu with me. Is that the best way to refer to you?
Well, such a mouthful. Is actually Olivia Novelo Abreu.
Abreu. Okay, I apologize.
No, not at all.
But anyhow, you are running for mayor of Irving, and wanted to first of all thank you for your willingness to,
my pleasure.
to let us interview with you. And I think I guess we can start off by just talking a little bit about your history. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Maybe you can go as deep or as not so deep as you want. But I'm always very curious to know where people come from, a little bit about their background. And
more than anything, I always I tell people that really and truly, ladies about my age in Mexico, I don't think anybody speaks English. But I was very fortunate. Even though I was born in the Yucatan, my family moved to Guadalajara in Mexico. It was a bigger city, more progressive. And my parents, who didn't have any formal education, really, they were opening the American School Foundation in Guadalajara. They were middle class. It was not very expensive, and the 5 of us went there. All the other 4 really didn't pursue it, but I learned to read and write and see the American world through your eyes at a very young age. So all those sounds stayed with me. And I just loved it. Of course, we had no money to travel. So fast forward, first time I come to America, I'm 15 years old. We take a regular raggedy bus all the way to the border to Tijuana, and we go to Disneyland. Oh, I wanted to live in Disneyland. I said, one day I'm going to live in Disneyland. I do. I live in Disneyland. For me, America was my dream, along with, I've told people, along with millions around the world. So I'm always so thankful that I became one of you.
Wow.
And then, of course, my undergrad is from Mexico, and it was not until the later years of my life, I was already married, I already had kids, and then I embarked on education, because I always tell people something's got to give when you're a woman, and even for a man. But for a woman, raising a family, being, especially if you're Latina, and being at home and taking care of the family and the whole thing, working full time is very heavy. So I continued working full time because I had to, but I switched to education. Even though my undergrad is in mathematics and accounting, I switched to teaching English because that's the only position they had available.
Oh, wow.
And then a linguist was born. I enjoyed it so much that I literally found one of the better programs that was right here in the States. So I went to Columbia University in New York, and I earned my master's, 40-something years ago.
Wow.
And then I really didn't know if I wanted to live here or not, but you do it for the kids. Most of us do it for the kids. You knew you had it okay, but you want I had 2 girls. I wanted them to experience the American culture, to really learn the culture, the language. They've done well. So again, fast forward, I've been here in Irving 40-something years.
Wow.
And when my daughters went back to school, and well, not back to school, they moved forward and they went to engineering school in A&M, I told them it's my turn to go back. So I enrolled in my doctoral program.
Oh, great.
And I'm used to being the oldest one. I was 52 when I earned my doctorate, and I was along with the younger ones. And it was good. Feels good to show the students that if I could do it, anybody can do it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I think I kind of identify, I'm in my 40s at this point, and, I think we all have like those dreams that maybe we didn't go for when we feel like we should have in our youth, and to be able to go and try to grab them later in life. And that's something to aspire
especially
for.
In America, it is possible. Mm-hmm. In many countries of the world, if you're not young and you don't continue, you can't do it. But here, at any age, at any stage, you can move forward.
Great, that's wonderful. Well, it's good to know you. So you've been in Irving, you'd said, for 40 some odd years. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Tell me a bit about your experience in Irving so far. Like,
everything. I don't know if I was born positive or I tried to look at. I even stay away from people who are very negative, And of course, we all have our share of problems, but I try to concentrate more on what have I learned out of it. 40-something years ago, when we moved here, I was married then. Of course, we were raising the girls. There were no Latinos in Irving, very few. My younger one went to Barton. There were like 7 kids that were different. There was no ESL program, no bilingual program. And she was the only Mexican born.
Oh, wow.
So it was totally different. Irving was 90,000 people. It stopped at Northgate. There was nothing. And I was very fortunate because almost right away I got my full-time job as faculty with Northlake College. So the experience has always been very good. The girls did very well. They moved to the ranks of IISD, Barton, Crockett, and then Irving High School. So I did all the American dream things about the band and the suffering if they have to take the test and then move on to college. So it's all been great. And I've been recruited to go to other places. You should come here, and I always say, no, Irving is home. Mexico is still my place of birth, but Irving is home. I know south to north to east to west, and my younger daughter always tells me the joke, are you crossing the border today? For her, anything that is south of 183, and I am always crossing the border because this is the only place where I can find my pupusas, my tacos, my everything. So Irving has been a very, very good home for me.
I can definitely identify with that. I mean, I grew up in Oklahoma, but I think this is definitely my place in the world. So I can definitely identify with that that sentiment. So that's great. So talk about your campaign a little bit. What motivated you to, I guess, to say launch your bid for mayor?
Well, it's very interesting. Even though I was very related to the political world in Mexico, even at a very young age, I had been selected and elected to different positions there. When I moved here, because of the world of education, I said, well, this is it. But I guess we are all into the world of politics. In Spanish, we even call it familia política. We don't call the in-laws are familia política. So you're always really establishing policies at home, and you're always really working with people. So you're always into a political world, even though you're not in a seat at the government. But I think it was about 6 years ago, a good friend of mine who happens to be an important businesswoman here in Irving told me, Olivia, you should run for office. And I said, what have I done wrong to you? Why would I want to do that? And then she told me something very, very nice. She said that for years she has watched me, picking up the homeless, feeding the kids, if it's not a college student, driving them to Parkland, teaching my classes, raising my family. And she said, can you imagine how much good you could do if you sat in a council seat and said, okay, then I'll run for mayor. And I did 6 years ago. This is not my first rodeo. Oh, okay. But the fun, now I have a very good fun fact. I invested $320 out of my pocket. And if you want to know how much the incumbent invested out of someone else's pocket, I did it myself, and I got 46% of the vote. When the city secretary called me and said, Dr. Olivia, you're a star. I said, no, I'm not. What's going on? I was really hoping that I would get at least 100 votes or 200, to at least 46% of the vote. Wow. 46% of the people thought that I could do something important for this city. Wow. So I let it go for 3 years, and then I decided, okay, let's have the second rodeo.
All right. Great. Well, awesome. Well, I'd have to say that's pretty impressive, a good return on investment, right? For that 46%.
ROI is not bad.
Yeah, exactly. Great. Well, I guess, if you're elected, right, what would be the top priorities that you would focus on for the city?
The first one for me is unity and community. We're not united at all. That's my perspective. I talk to people. I'm a linguist. We are isolated in our own little worlds. The Latinos really, well, yes, they're serving, they're cooking, they're cleaning, but they're not really being invested in having a lot of friendships with the other part of the community. Everything is happening in the north. We talk about Las Colinas, and even people who tell me they live in Las Colinas, Texas, make me a little bit like, it's not Las Colinas, Texas, it's Irving, Texas. It's a part of, but everything happens. The business, everything. I have had enough now that I'm talking so much to people that, oh no, I never go to Irving, I never go to South, oh no, I never go to. So it seems that everything stops at a certain gate. And then the people from the South, mis amigos latinos, they don't go to the north. No, ay, no nos quieren. No, they don't want us there. No, we're happy over here.
Yeah.
And then you go to the east and you go to the west, and it's totally different. And my African students that I have had, they're also in their own little pocket, and we're not united. So that would be one, unity in community. My second big one is education for all. It starts at conception and it ends when you go. Unless life takes you away, which is with your mind, Alzheimer, or something mentally difficult. But provided that we're kind of okay, we can start learning very early and we can finish very late. So I don't like this when I hear, well, no, we don't rule IISD. You have to rule IISD, you have to talk to people. But if you go with the contentious thing that, no, that's not for me, you need to get out of your box. But again, I came here without a box. So when I even see this situation that no, that's not in my job description. Excuse you, we can talk now. Because I have had that world, I work for IISD, I work for my adorable monks at Cistercian, I've been to many churches, I've taught people from mostly all the cultures in the world education. We need to educate ourselves about, especially with the younger ones, and even with the much older ones. Who are they? How can we understand them better? And then I would say the last one that is very important is infrastructure. Conservation, water. Yes, we have good water. I know we have enough, but will we have enough for your grandchildren? We need to start doing something. We don't really need to have green grass everywhere. There are so many native plants that don't need water, but there I am paying a ton of money in water because I have to. If I don't, my community is going to come and give me a fine because it's not green enough. So those would be probably my three top ones.
Oh, okay, all right. You mentioned before that I think you said in your last answer that you feel like Irving is not united, and I think it's definitely no secret that this is probably, for a city of its size especially, this is one of the most diverse communities probably in the United States, and as a consequence of that, you have all sorts of different groups asking, they have different asks, right? Different interests, that they're pushing for, and the city government kind of gets to hear all of it, As mayor, obviously balancing out those interests, how do you see yourself working with a council where each person on council is sort of in their own ways are representing different interest groups? How do you build consensus and get things done in that situation?
First of all, I think they'll have to. I'm not going to be there to make friends. I'm too old for that. When you're a little kid, oh, he's my friend. They met them like this morning and now they're friends. I think I will be there to serve you, to serve the community. And yes, I'm going to cross paths that have never been crossed before. And then for now, I know I'm the one that is disrupting the situation because I'm a female y soy Latina. I'm Mexican born. So I came out of nowhere, and 6 years ago they were laughing about me. Because, you get the stories, and now they might continue laughing, but they're watching. Interesting,
right.
huh?
Yeah.
So anyway, we will have to work together for the good of the rest.
Great. So, if you're elected, how would you define success? What it's a 3-year term. I don't, I'm not sure if you're looking for 3 years or if you're planning on running for re-election. But
Well,
how would you ultimately define a successful term as mayor?
Let's go to the last part of the question first. There was a young man. For me, all of you are so young. But there was a young man who, groomed me and grilled me with so many questions in one of the work studies, just one of those intermissions that we have.
Sure.
And he went on and on and on, and I kept answering and answering. It was very transparent, very authentic. And at the very end, I think he really believed that I could win. And then he just said, and if you win, how many terms are you going to serve? And I said, young man, let me tell you one thing, like they say in Texas. I hope I can be alive by May the 2nd when Ms. Jennings calls me and says, Olivia, these are the results. After that, we'll see. Excuse me, what do you want me to say? Oh, at my age, young man, I'm thinking about 10, please, 3 years and then we'll see. But that's how I see it coming.
Great. So, with this 3 years, how would you define success?
What is success? Are there thousands and thousands of books written about success? Are there thousands and millions of books about finding happiness? What makes you successful doesn't make me successful. But if you define it, it's what you have accomplished in life according to the principles that finally you created for you. Money has meant nothing to me. They have tried. Never did. But of course, you needed to survive. You needed to have a good life, a decent life. But I never get it. Why do you need for one person a 7,000 square footage home? I have never been able to understand it. But why do you want to have a car that costs much more than a home for a poor person? I just don't get it. I drive my cars until they really fall apart, and they're still there. So for me, success is when I see happiness in someone else because I created something, when I made someone smile, when I can help a student, when I can give something to a homeless that is not even food, it's just talking. Like I haven't seen Jackie P. She calls herself Jackie P because she says Jackie O was rich. And she's Jackie P because she's Jackie Poor. And I haven't seen her for a while. So when I don't see her, I get worried about her. So that's for me success. For me, it's different to what it is for many other people.
Oh, fair enough. I agree. So, I know a lot of times, when you're in a position of leadership, especially if you're the mayor of Irving, there's going to be things that I would imagine are maybe not very popular, maybe initiatives that aren't terribly popular at the time, but they're necessary for the long-term success of the city. What are those initiatives you think that you would pursue, maybe that aren't terribly popular, but in the eyes of the public at this moment, but are really something that we really have to pursue?
There are quite a number of them. You can't please all of them. There's no way. And it's not pleasing. It's really working for the best possible way with the monies you have. Because again, I do know numbers. I'm a mathematician. I'm an accountant. So I understand figures. There's only so much money that you can bring in. And they called us not too long ago, and it was a very powerful interview, that we have the donut hole, and eventually, yes, we brag about a lot of things, but there are other situations in Irving that we cannot control. And eventually money can be tight. And tough decisions will have to be made. Especially now going on with DART and the private system that the council is trying to implement. If elected, I might go in and I might not be in total agreement with it, or I might be. So there will be tough decisions, and you won't be able to please them all, and you will be under attack. That's something that I'm used to. You see, I'm a fighter. Anybody, sometimes when I see people who have never moved to another country, they have not cleaned restrooms, they have not done toilets for someone else, they have not really scrubbed floors the way I have done, you know what? I'm a fighter. This is a piece of cake.
Yeah, I think there's some truth behind what you say. I think when I was early on in my career, somebody told me, with each and every action, there's an equal and opposite criticism, right? So no matter what you do, you're always going to get criticized for it. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, very good. And then my last question for you is, what makes you, among all the other candidates in the field, what's your message to the voters? Is like, what makes you specifically the best person for this job?
Being such a diverse city now, which has changed so dramatically in the last 40 years. 40 years ago, they all look like you. Today, they all look different. It's a big challenge. The district has a situation where they need to keep the best teachers, they need to keep the best counselors, with a population that has changed dramatically over the 40 years. I've been here those 40 years. And where people see threat, I see advantages. Where they see something that is wrong, I see, let's make it right. Let's work with them. So what I bring in is I have walked in their shoes. I speak several languages and I'm very familiar with most cultures in the world. And I feel at home in any place at any time. So that's the advantage. Plus I'm very positive. I don't dwell in the negative and I know how to walk away. And another very good thing, nobody can buy me. I'm a very good cook. I'm almost a chef.
Oh, nice.
So you know what, yeah, so nobody can buy me. The casinos, I don't gamble. And I don't believe that Irving needs casinos. They can take them somewhere else, but not here. It's just more of a family place. So there are things that I will never change my mind on, but there will be many other ones that I will have to say, well, but you have to talk to people. And I have been also to other surveys. Oh, please give me a break. If many of my Latino people don't even know how to read or write in Spanish, and they don't read the newspaper, do you really think they're going to go on the internet and answer a survey? You will do it, I can do it. So you need to almost go like the census, knock on the door and say, I would like to talk to you. And if you talk to them, you will find out what the needs are. So that's what I think makes me a little bit different.
Great. Well, lovely to meet you. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Speaking of, you mentioned how you speak different languages. We're actually going to be, right after this interview, we'll be recording another interview in Spanish, which should be a lot of fun. So for those of you that partake of the Spanish language, please tune into that interview as well. Thank you very much, and I appreciate it. Thanks again, Dr. Abreu.
Thank you.
Another issue of the Irving Herald is off the press. First copies of Irving's newspaper were distributed the very day lots were auctioned off to start the city of Irving.